Hello ladies and gentlemen, here I am intruding on your week, midweek, and that's right, we're going to be celebrating rites of passage. It's been since Monday that I've had a calling to do this, and it's weighing heavy on me. It has been, but I'm here to do it. I've had a rough patch, my voice is not the best yet, but I think we're learning something. So sit back and enjoy this reading. I hope it will help you in some way to prepare for the new moon of April 18th, 2015. Enjoy it. Hello, this is Christelle Martinette, and as you heard in the beginning of the video that I made at the end of this video, I'm here to with another reading that I decided to make for the new moon. Now, I said so in the beginning, so let me tell you what, as I mixed the cards, I was inspired by a book written by James Rickliffe, an excellent book on tarot called The Soul's Journey. And he there has a spread that I thought would be very suited for this moon's energy. And it's called The Fleeting versus the Eternal Spread. And what is it like? There are 4 cards drawn. 4 cards drawn. The first card, it's in a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first card represents, the first 2 cards represent the fleeting. The first card is what is changing in your life right now. The second card is what do you need to know about that change. And then the eternal, 3 and 4. Number 3 is what is the eternal spiritual truth that is underlying this part of your life, this transitory part of your life. And the 4th card is what do you need to understand about this eternal truth. Now, let's see if I can get those out. We have, okay, the first card, what is changing in our life, which is very interesting that the Wheel of Fortune came out. We'll talk about that. Then, what do you need to know about this change? The Hermit. What's the underlying spiritual eternal truth in this transitory part of your life? The 2 of Wands. And what do you need to understand about this eternal truth? We have our High Priestess. Well, I have quite a job here. Now, for the first question, what is changing in your life now? Well, the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune tells us this too shall pass. And I just heard that today from a friend of mine, actually. And it talks about the change in life and fate, and how you can learn from adversity, and in the face, trying to work towards equanimity. Perhaps it means that you should try to view changes with equanimity, detaching from transitory things, because in fact, indeed the attachment to transitory things is what causes us pain, and the wheel. Many of us who read tarot decks know that when the wheel, what goes up must come down, this too shall pass, is because the things at the top of the wheel, as the wheel turns, they're thrown off. And I decided to call this reading Celebrating Rites of Passage, because this is a transitory phase, and we need to celebrate them, to understand them, and truly celebrate them. And this will allow us to strengthen then our inner connection to the eternal. Or perhaps what we need to do is see it as a lesson. See everything holds a lesson for us. You remember when, if any of you have seen my video, the seminar, Cartomancy 101, Going With Your Gut, it's number 3. There I talk about myself towards the end of the video, and I talk about how I moved towards things to learn. I need to learn from things. That's what motivates me to be drawn towards things, even in relationships. And, well, that tells me I should be listening to myself more often. I never do. So the idea is to leave the attachment to a certain desired result, too, behind. Also, I think what is hidden in this card, in terms of what is changing right now, is it's reminding us that there's failure hidden in every success, and that every success holds failure. And ultimately, this should bring you, and I'm talking in spiritual terms here, it should bring you to the divine, our permanent joy. Now, I'm not going to, I don't intend here to be talking like any spiritual guru. Au contraire, I'm the first to admit that I'm so attached to worldly pleasures, but I too fall prey, unfortunately, and it's been a rough patch. And I'm trying to see the light, literally, and this is helping me. This reading is one way for me to share it with you. Our permanent joy, this is what we should work towards. There's no guarantees, obviously. Sometimes you also, and you probably have had this experience, that people tend to manipulate things to fit what their expectations are. But perhaps the idea for a lasting joy would be to believe in universal laws of nature. Don't let your joy depend on changing people or conditions that you don't like or that you don't see fit. Okay, so this is, I think we've spent enough time on that. What is changing in our lives now, right now? Now, the second card, what do you need to know about this change? How interesting that the Hermit has come out. And the Hermit is indeed to be viewed as a guru, a teacher, or let's say an unorthodox teacher. A spiritual quest is where we should be on. This card is suggesting that we get on a spiritual quest. But differently from conventional teachers, and teachers that we have as students, there are very few students who accept and see their spiritual teacher. Let's say, perhaps what I'm trying to say is that when the student is ready, then the teacher will appear. Many of you say, oh, you know, I feel like you were talking to me in your words during the week. And far from me being a guru, this does resonate. Things resonate with you when you're ready to listen, or when you hear them, or there's some little thing that hits home with you. And there's a time, obviously, for everything. The teacher, as the Hermit does, harbors in students a place, perhaps I can explain it this way, where they themselves, the students themselves, excuse me, thank God for water, where students themselves can come and be reflected in what they hear or what they see. Just like in the reading, like I just said, they can see their own image reflected. And things become clearer for them, but not from imparting knowledge. Teachers don't impart knowledge, but they're just simply being there, providing an example. It's light, even by simply the teacher's aura, the teacher's own light. I remember when a while ago, when my mother was still alive, I had the children, and I asked her, I said, you know, every time I tell them something, I feel like I'm telling them something wrong. I feel like my suggestion to them or whatever I'm saying, I think I'm always making mistakes. And she was cooking in the kitchen, she just turns and she said, well, you know, all you have to do is be an example. And I thought, oh, right, that's it. And this is what I'm trying to say. Sharing, also another thing, sharing is also part of the work toward your own spiritual enlightenment, as is listening, knowing how to listen. Probably that is the most important part. It's part of the work. It's a big part of the work. Your inner depth reveals really your outer world, the beauty of your outer world. And many of you have heard of the salutation, the Hindu salutation, Namaste, or Namaste. And this literally means the divinity in me meets the divinity in you. Okay, so this is what we need to know about this change, that we need to be ready for the change. Let's go on to the eternal. These were the fleeting moments in our life in this period, and the other two cards are the eternal. The eternal. And there's one interesting, these two came out. This is the third, which is what is the eternal spiritual truth underlying this transitory phase, transitory part of your life. And this is what do we need to know about this eternal truth. The Two of Wands and the major arcana, the number 2. And we'll talk about that. So the Two of Wands. Now, the Two of Wands talks about dominion, all right? It talks about dominion, conflicts, about personal power, and decisions about where we direct our passions. The number 2, the choice of power. The number 2 is a number that talks about decisions and choices. The Wands also talk about fire and passions, and together they tell us to think about where to direct our passions. The choice in terms of where does your passion truly lie? Where do you want to put your energies in the passion, in your passions? Where do you want to ultimately lodge your passions? In terms of dominion, it is a trap. I mean, power is a trap. Power over others is sort of a trap because it reveals, it's a weakness. It's revealing the weakness disguised as strength. Okay, we could talk about a lot of things here. We could talk about insecure egos, a lack of trust in our own ability to get what we need, to secure the resources that we need. And this keeps us from actually loving people because we see them as objects that almost threaten our power and our prestige. I don't know if that's making sense. This is the first thing that comes to my mind, but this creates conflicts. Now, the conflicting nature is that our ego tries to control what it wants because it wants to defend itself. And we need to view this for what it is, bringing equanimity and light to our own higher consciousness. Now let's see about what we need to understand about this eternal truth. Very, very pleased to see the High Priestess here. The number 2 of the Major Arcana. She is the archetype of the oracle of myth and legend. She represents our quiet, intuitive voice within, the voice that we listen to that reveals and expresses our true ideas, our true desires, and they express the real secrets of life. And perhaps this is suggesting meditation. We need to meditate to be able to still that voice and understand it and listen to it, be able to listen. The oracle, she's like Cassandra of ancient Troy, or for those of you who dabble in history, the priestess or myths, the priestess of the Delphic oracle. Excuse me. And if we want to extend that, the whole universe is oracular. It's not just in cards that we deal, or the runes that we cast. Everything we do potentially, if we like to see it this way, as projected to our daily life, everything we do potentially expresses the voice of the divine. Now, I don't want to go flying into a guru spiritual talk, but this is a powerful message, the fact that she did come out. And when I say that the whole universe is oracular, is that it talks. You need to listen. You need to stop and listen. This is the way that the divine speaks to us. I know you've heard people. I hear the voices, and I actually do hear voices and murmurs. And that's why I like the oracle cards. They speak loudly. The tarot can be used as a tool, and in a sense, the tarot too works as an oracle for the divine, because it helps us hear the voice of the divine. Meditation, deep breathing, calming the mind and getting centered, looking around and considering what messages are behind and everything that you do and what catches your attention. Those things potentially hide messages for you, because answers are everywhere. You need to stop, observe, and listen. Excuse me. Again, thank God for water. The number, the polarity, duality and polarity. She is the number 2 of the major arcana in this card, but the polarity is represented by unity within duality. It's represented also in the yin-yang symbol. This means that polar opposites are interconnected. Excuse me. This leads to a deeper sort of understanding of life, because this duality makes it possible for you to actually distinguish who you are. Now let me just explain this 1 second. Outer traits in philosophy. Well, let's start with that in philosophy. Philosophy, there are many philosophical threads that hold that you can distinguish things by using polarity, black and white, and on a line between black and white you have your grays. My hair is red because it's not blonde and it's not black, and it's on a line, on a range from blonde to black. These are outer traits, but this sort of discussion, this reasoning process, this logic, can be extended in any realm, in family life, in politics, the differences between siblings, anything. Now, if this is true, it also should tell us that concentrating on differences in relationships, in any kind of vision that we see, will breed differences. But if you view similarities, this should breed common ground. And also, this too can be extended to reasoning that, however, does create false dichotomies, for example, right versus wrong. And James Rickliffe talks about this in his book as well, the good versus evil, and so on. And this is it's an invitation, this card. The High Priestess is inviting us to take practice, exercise in seeing oneness and unity in things. How are you so similar to someone? Why are you together? Why do you want to be together? Why are you apart? And your illusions of duality will dissolve, really. it should, this will foster the unity for both to ultimately unite yourself with others, but also with the divine. And I hope this has made some sense to you. This is a very, very interesting reading. Again, the first card. What is changing in your life now? What do you need to know about that change? And what's the spiritual truth underlying this transitory part of your life? And what do you need to understand about this eternal truth? Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Oh, one more thing. I wore this on purpose. A person asked me, is that a citrine? Is that a citrine? It's lovely. Well, this is actually a clear quartz. And it was in the light of my last reading that it came out yellow. It's very clear. It was a godsend. Let's put it that way. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your company and giving me the opportunity to share this. I will be speaking to you shortly with the weekly reading for the 20th of April. And be ready for this new moon on the 18th of April. I do hope that this has helped you to celebrate that rite of passage. Bye-bye.